Wow.
Good morning.
Good morning, California! Or
Good
something like.
morning.
This isn't Kansas anymore. Because over here they sell this weird beer called Brand. And this is the one with the blue label. And I'm kind of bored right now. So yeah, welcome to yet another retarded episode of Radio Rothingham after a, 1 week hiatus. Well, technically it's 2 weeks, but we skip an episode. But here we are again to bring you retarded news. It's brought by a bunch of retarded people. We got yours truly, the Artrix. We have a penboy back from the dead.
I'm not dead. I was born that way.
Yes, we got a Sekele.
So you are an abortion?
Yes.
He's a abortionor. The superpowers are being in quantum state between being dead alive and I don't know, being a nuisance.
I'm Schrodinger's fetus.
So basically, if Kenshiro tells you you are already dead,
I agree.
And we got hair back from
Huh.
I exist too.
He sure exists. Well, in the past 2 weeks, there have been a bunch of happenings. We'll try to get through them. Also, there's a high probability that Xaverius will join midstream. Because he did ask me to delay the stream until 1100. I mean 2300, but nope, he's not around. So he either meant 11 in the morning or he can't make it. I don't know.
Well, only in your fake time zone. It's still not 1100 yet.
It is. Well, not 1100. That's another 12 hours from now.
You and your inability to read my clock.
I know, right? But yeah, he might show up, maybe not. I don't know. Also, this episode I'm drawing, the latest meme character. It is Doomfist, XDD, and this big scowl. Oh god, I forgot that word again. What was it?
Scowl?
Cowl.
Scowl.
He is scowling. He is a very friendly looking large man with a electronic fist. I believe his name might have something to do with his giant electronic fist.
No, it has nothing to do. It has nothing to do with that, and all to do with what he likes to do in the bedroom.
Is it Wreck-It Ralph?
Yes, he's gonna wreck it.
Yeah, I always find this kind of character design silly. Because,
Well, he is going to wreck it.
like think about it. He's still a basic human, right? Like his entire body's not enhanced. So they attach half a ton of metal and steel to his arm. He's going to fall over because he doesn't have anything extra to support all that weight. I mean, yeah, he's a big guy.
He's ripped.
But even the biggest guys don't run around with 200-pound barbells on their shoulders all the time. I mean, this isn't Dragon Ball.
Well, this is the future.
The future in which everything is prosthetic. The far away future of 2076 when.
Okay, so you're suggesting that eugenics has come back into the fold, and we are only breeding the most purebred, perfect humans, and everyone is basically calm.
That is actually Doomfist's agenda.
That
is literally his. Yeah.
He's literally Hitler. He's literally Hitler, guys.
Oh no.
I'm gonna draw it right now. He's got a little. He's literally Hitler. Oh god, I think I just uncovered like the terrible truth about Doomfist. Doomfist is literally Hitler. If you just add the Hitler hair and the Hitler mustache, he literally looks like Hitler.
Except
anyone with his hair and his mustache looks like him.
That's the joke.
Those are like his defining traits.
I comb my hair like that.
Unfortunately,
but it's kind of funny actually. we're kind of moving past the need for eugenics and genetics right now, because we've been developing gene therapies that will basically, if they work properly, solve all the problems eugenics were intended to solve.
Mm-hmm.
If you're born with Downs, just take this injection of not Downs, and
we'll just
then
remove
you'll have
the bit from your DNA that causes Downs, and then you'll be rich.
Yeah, no, like using the method is called CRISPR. It's a kind of viral DNA rewriting system which lets you reprogram parts of someone's DNA.
But wait a minute, if that kind of technology exists,
It does currently, yes.
Then we can finally just switch genders, and then we don't have to have this gender discussion anymore. Because then you can truly say, I don't quite feel like a guy. I'd rather be a girl. Then instead of saying, well, that is literally impossible, you will always be a guy for the rest of your entire existence because every cell in your body is male.
I'm trying to think, would this actually work for such major changes?
Well, maybe they can do it very gradually.
I'm just picturing someone now getting, going through horrible physical mutations after being an adult and having their DNA altered. Good God, it's actually a pretty horrifying image.
Well,
people do this already, so yeah.
But if you really want it, I guess it's possible. It sounds
I mean,
horrendous.
some parents basically do it to their children, so.
Also,
yeah, they give them hormone blockers, yeah, but that's not quite the same.
Also, I think we're on the Xaverius inbound. He just came online.
He just
Hello!
Well, he's not in the call yet, but...
He is.
Oh.
Hello.
Hi. How are you?
Yes.
And welcome to tonight's episode. We decided to start already, but we've been on for like 10 minutes, so...
We were just talking about eugenics.
And that too.
And how they're perfect.
And how Doomfist is literally Hitler.
Oh, I met like 7 Germans yesterday, so I'm okay with eugenics. I'm not okay with Doomfist being Overwatch though, because that kind of spoiled that entire in-joke.
Mm-hmm.
The in-joke of...
Oh yeah, that he's like this character that's gonna be released, but they're never gonna release him.
No. He was in the beta or alpha, but he was scrapped, so they just copy pasted him all over the place. And the joke is that he's a prominent character in Overwatch world, but they never mentioned him directly. And he originally was a champion, but they're like, okay, we are actually going to release him, idiot.
That's a shame. I don't like this game. I don't enjoy getting more content.
Well, they could have introduced any other black dude with eugenic plans. Come on.
Yeah, instead of Doomfist, they could have introduced Nightmare Punch or something like that.
Or Terry Crews himself.
Yeah, just
eugenic plans to make everyone have melanin.
Yeah, just introduce Terry Crews with his muscles of muscles.
Exactly.
Yeah, just not even make him a character, just literally have him in the game.
Yeah. Flood the war with muscle
as himself, and his ultimate would just be to spray everyone with Old Spice.
Now I'm just picturing someone getting their DNA CRISPR'd so they produce melanin, but none of the other DNA changes it would be required to make you black. So you're just a white guy with perfectly black skin.
Actually,
Oh,
God.
So basically, an inverted Michael Jackson.
Exactly.
That reminds me of a picture of Symmetra I've seen recently. It was just that. It was just a white woman with black skin. It looked really weird.
Well, I mean, that exists in Africa. Some of the tribes that have like European facial structure. And the tribes that are living next to them and have African face structure don't like them and they kill them.
That somehow that doesn't surprise me.
I have
Almost-
once seen an albino black man.
That's got to be
It
bizarre.
was weird.
I've heard that about albino black people in Africa do not have a good time, honestly.
Nope.
So much sunscreen they have to use not to die.
Oh God, could you imagine that living in like a desert area but having pure white? Jesus Christ, you'd be burning all the time.
It's called
I'm Irish, so I
Australia.
can relate. Yeah,
It's called Australia. That's what happens there.
Yeah, could you imagine being those first Irish prisoners being sent down to Australia?
Mhm.
It's like, I just went from the rainiest country on the planet to this hellhole of desert heat.
And you got bitten by a spider, and now your food is twice the size it was.
Sounds good.
Well, it makes perfect sense now why they decided to make Australia a prison. You know.
Like, yeah,
Yeah.
it was literally considered hell at the time.
Yeah. And you have to live with black people.
I believe they're called Aboriginals in Australia.
Yes.
It's even worse.
Also, I think that would be the least of your worries.
Well,
Yes.
at least
Talking
Aborigines
about
were-
bizarre, I saw a guy with a fedora made of straw today, and to the top of the fedora there was a duct tape Twilight Sparkle.
Oh my
Good for him.
god.
That is like so many things wrong combined.
God, he
Well-
just wanted to, virtue signal to the world his hobbies and how he was a perfectly ordinary, not strange person wearing that in public.
You know, like
Well,
this, like
I
this
mean,
other,
talking,
like.
talking about signaling your hobbies, I actually met a woman who is definitely signaling her hobbies. She has waist long black hair. She has chainmail loops woven into it, and she has tattoos everywhere of all her favorite bands.
So a LARPer.
She's good at partying.
Well, no, she'll be perfect for that guy who likes to skin his victims. Pre-patterned wallpaper.
Uh-huh.
She's
There
German.
is
I mean,
actually-
she has more potential to do that to other people.
Yeah.
There is actually a bar in Prague. There is a guy who used to travel a lot around the world, and somehow he obtained the skins of Mongolian warriors.
He probably killed them.
Like
Took it
with
off them.
tattoos. And basically they are being not promoted, how do you call it, when they are shown on display in said bar.
So the bars like
Displayed.
the heads of dead people in it.
No, not their heads, their
Ah.
skins.
Just
Like
Still.
the Mongolian warriors, they are tattooed during life, and after they die, their skin is taken and preserved. And
Ah,
somehow he managed.
In the
And
better
somehow
case,
he managed.
in the worst case, you are getting the skin flayed off you alive.
Somehow he managed to purchase those skins. I have
He
no idea
probably
how.
gave someone a big bucket, and the bucket was full of money.
Most likely. I mean, getting that kind of stuff is. I can't imagine he got it through like legal means, most likely black market or something.
you certainly have to
In
have
Mongolia, one
connections.
giant black market.
And I have to point out that the bucket of money wasn't Great Depression German money, because in that situation the bucket was probably more valuable.
Though ironically,
Or Venezuelan depression money.
ironically, the German inflation money is probably worth quite a penny these days, since it's got collector's value.
Since most of it was probably
all
used to-
fitted by Venezuela.
I mean, the same can be said about DDR money. Apparently, there's not a lot of it left. And also, not too long ago, actually, like in the late 2000s, someone actually found like, I think it was a cave or vault or something like that. Some enclosure that, I think it was a cave. There was like a cave and it was full of DDR money. So basically, the DDR stopped existing. They were like, yeah, we're gonna stop doing this. We're just gonna become Germany now. Just give us all the DDR marks and we'll convert them to actual marks. So
Was it enough DDR money to buy a lollipop?
yeah, they discovered, okay, I just gave you guys 6 trillion DDR mark. What do I get? Well, 2 Deutschmark. That's enough to buy Milka bar. Here you go.
Lol.
Suddenly I want Milky Ways.
That sounds like if a normal working, functioning country join the Soviet Union. I mean, it kind of happened to us in the 50s. The president was like, no, there's not going to be a reform. And then, like, a few days later, there was a reform. And then you got 20 times less than you had.
Okay.
People were sort of confused because, this meant that the Czechoslovakia is too good to be in Soviet Union. They have better economics than they did, so obviously they had to take us down. It's extremely sad and damaging, but it's kind of funny.
So they basically forced you to adopt a new currency or something like that?
More or less.
Yes. And
I mean, the currency was called the same. It was just 20 times.
Basically, your currency...
Or rather, it was like if you had...
it was basically like Britain entering the EU and the EU saying, hey, why don't you take on the euro? And Britain being like, no, that will devalue our money.
Especially when the conversion rate
Well,
is 1-to-1.
Well, Pemboy, you would still have pounds, right? But the pounds would be like, if you have 20 pounds, you will get 1 pound. And if you get more than 20 pounds, then for every 50 pounds, you would get a pound.
That sounds retarded.
Oh, it was communism.
What?
I mean,
Everyone loves
They will
communism.
pound you in the ass.
Yes.
I mean, then in that case, I'd rather take the 1-to-1 conversion rate, where 1 pound is 1 euro, which would mean a roughly 20% decrease in monetary value. But that sounds a lot better than, okay, 20 currencies now worth only 1 currency. That's quite a devaluation right there.
Yeah.
Anyway, maybe we should bring up some news, because in the past 2 weeks, quite a few things have happened. I think I'll start with the elephant in the room, which was there was a little thingy going on in Hamburg. Just a little thing, just a bunch of dudes come together, having a pint of beer, and then some music.
Actually, that was kind of what the mayor of the town said about this event. It's gonna be just like one of those harbor birthdays, so basically people won't even notice that it happened.
I think you're ignoring
Basically.
I think you're ignoring the real bad thing. There was a Trump in the city.
Oh my god! Literally, Hitler was in the city.
Yeah.
And you
Stop
know,
hating orange people.
And he was friends with Macron.
And guess who really hates Hitler? The certain
Jews.
Organization. Oh yeah, well, I guess the Jews already kind of hate him. But Antifa was there as well. And Antifa was like, we're just gonna have like. At first, I heard there were 600 Antifas there. And it was like, okay, that's a significant amount of Antifas. But then the reports started pouring in that there were like over 9,000. Actually, no. But
it was 6 kilo Antifas.
It was, yeah. I think it was like 6,000. It was in the thousands.
Was it 6 or 8? It was a round number.
They needed 20,000 fucking cops to sort of try and keep orders. And they actually kind of managed to do that in the later part of the event, because on the first night, yeah, it completely ran out of hand. Like the protesters are basically just roaming free, burning cars, destroying private property. Like, imagine having a store and you're doing well for yourself, not great, but you get by. You know, you're offering in the goods and
Yeah.
services to your neighborhood, and then these Antifa people are like, down with the system, capitalism is terrible, and I'm going to destroy your business.
Well, to be fair, they looted Rewe, which is more of a big chain in Germany, and IKEA. I don't think those stores are barely getting by.
No, but there were plenty of stores that were exactly the way I described them, and they were also targeted. Basically, anything that is a symbol for capitalism, which basically any store that is out there to make a profit is
Yeah,
is a fair target for
Yeah, because they had all the police force all allocated around the main event because they wanted to protect those important politicians and of course like the richer people who also have their own security and everything. So they were fine, but like the normal people, they didn't have really any police around anymore.
Yeah, well, apparently that was the case initially, but they seem to have turned things around a bit.
Yeah, but
Well,
after the damage was already done.
it was kind of too late. They and I still wonder if this was deliberate or if this just a huge amount of incompetence. Because if they decided to move this convention somewhere else, like on an island or something, there would still be some sort of riot. Though I doubt it would be of the scale that we just witnessed.
Yeah, of course. And that's the thing, like most people were saying, why didn't they do it somewhere else where there isn't so much happening?
Mm-hmm. But yeah,
But no, he really wanted it to be in Hamburg.
was it Merkel or the mayor that desperately wanted that?
From what I know, it was the.
I assume it was Merkel's fault.
It's always Merkel's
I'm
fault.
sure it were multiple people involved, but still. Because the mayor could have said no, he has too many security concerns and he can't host this event, and then it would have been hosted somewhere else.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, on one hand, there is gross incompetence on the leadership of Germany and Hamburg, where they really underestimated the safety concerns about just about everything.
The worst part is that even the police and everyone was telling them the security concerns, and they were saying what's going to happen, but the politician was like, nah, you are overblowing things out of proportions, and what did happen exactly what people predicted.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if you get the genius idea to have a specifically capitalist meeting, because G20 is pretty much like the 20 wealthiest countries of the world, basically.
In
So
a
Trade meeting, right? They discuss trade events and whatnot.
Exactly, and that's like very capitalistic, because usually it's just the trade, all those trade events and stuff are usually just decisions that only affect the businesses positively, like the huge businesses, corporations. Meanwhile, like the common people don't really get anything from it. I mean, I am sure less people would mind trade deals if it also meant, like, for example, if you're buying stuff from that country, you don't have to pay customs.
Well, a lot of the
sure
time it does. Like that's the point of the EU and the trade deals we have with the smaller countries connected.
Yeah, in the EU. But I mean, like, if you have, like, for example, a trade deal with the US or like Pacific countries, then But instead, the trade deals are done in such a way that pretty much only the corporations can profit from it.
Well, that's always going to be the way, because they're the ones doing the bulk of the trade. It does affect small countries though, because you do have to pay. You have to pay the taxes agreed at these trade deals when you're making small trade. So, like, when my dad's company used to buy stuff from Thailand, we used to have to pay an agreed upon trade rate by these trade things. So it affects everyone. If you are doing international trade, and it affects the big corporations the most, obviously, because they're the ones doing the most trade.
But since they are importing at really large quantities, they probably can. Well, it's economics of skill economics. So if you're able to import a lot of stuff all at once, you're probably able to offer those goods at a much more favorable rate than just an individual consumer would be able to import themselves, something like that.
Yeah, but the thing kind of about all this trade stuff and custom was kind of to prevent exactly this scenario that that companies and everything would be encouraged to gather the resources locally instead of like, oh,
Yeah, that's
you can
is
just
indeed,
buy stuff cheaply in China.
that is exactly what terrorists and whatnot are supposed to do, to encourage local manufacturing and whatnot.
But as long as
to-
China are just obliterating everyone in
Yeah.
the manufacturing cost, it's
Exactly, and that's yeah. And meanwhile, like in small scale, where it really shouldn't matter. In small scale, of course, people get like told nope, or you have just giant hoops. It's a pain in the ass to order from outside of the EU, because it's in customs. You gotta go to the offices that have open at very specific times, and if you're not there, then you are shit out of luck.
But
getting
yeah,
through customs can be annoying, yes. But most of the courier companies that you'd probably use do navigate customs for you these days.
they do. Because
Yeah.
last time I ordered something abroad, like from out of the EU, it basically just arrives at the customs office, and they're like, in order to receive this package, you have to pay like 60 quid worth of VAT and import tariffs and whatnot. And
Well,
then
the way it worked for me for the last 2 times I've ordered from the States is I got delivered from FedEx one time and UPS the other time. With FedEx, they sent me, after I'd received my package, I was sent a invoice for the customs bill. And with UPS, they asked for cash on delivery for the customs bill.
That's also like, but why can't they like already ask for cash when you order it? Because that's the most likely time when you actually have cash on hand or something. Like I wouldn't mind even paying customs. Like if I could just pay like, okay, you ordered this from the US, okay, pay your 19% customs or whatever on top, you are done. That would be like optimal instead of going through like the office and have to pick it up.
well,
I
that,
did
that
have
is okay.
one bad experience with customs, actually. I ordered a laptop from Lenovo years ago, and I ordered it from
How would you do
Lenovo's Irish website, and they shipped it out. It took forever because apparently it got shipped from China, and then I got a letter from the customs office saying, your computer's been held in customs. You'll need to pay €400 customs. I was like, no. For one, the computer didn't cost that much. And for two, I bought it from an Irish website and I paid paid VAT on it already.
Yeah, and that's something you can show them, like, look at this, I already paid VAT and everything. It's already been paid for. Fuck off.
Yeah, so I actually contacted Lenovo and said, sort this out, and they did.
That's good to customs.
Yeah, but
customs
that's the thing. A huge company can actually sort this out for some reason. Meanwhile, US normal person, yeah,
But what they did was they paid the fee.
yeah.
they're €400.
They failed to do the paperwork properly, so they had to
Yeah.
pay the fee.
Yeah, but for them, the €400 are like nothing.
Well, it was literally a complete loss of a sale for them, because that would have been the cost of the computer. It was one of those IdeaPad, little tiny shitty. Never buy one of those computers; they're worthless. Just so you know.
But yeah, most likely someone in the Lenovo offices got a nice scolding or something because they messed up.
Or it was just some error in their
system,
like their ordering system, and someone might have gotten scolded, or they're like, okay, this is an issue, we gotta, let's have some feedback loops going and see if we can, work out the kinks, and then we'll be good.
But from what I also understand, it's like that. I think if, for example, American people order from Japan, they don't have to pay customs either.
Well, they have a
but
trade
that's
deal.
yeah. That's the thing about the United States. They can enter in trade deals with just about anyone. Just like the UK is gonna be able to do. That they can be like, Japan, we really like you. You know what? No trade tariffs. You know, completely free trade. I doubt they're gonna do it, but they could do it if they really wanted to.
Every country like Ireland could have tariff-free deals with America as well if we weren't in the EU and if we wanted to. But we don't, because we're the EU, and the EU won't let us have independent trade deals.
Because one size fits all.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the crux of the problem.
Yeah, but on the other hand, it's the EU is like a huge trade deal of so and so many countries.
Yeah, but you, as a country, you can just set up those trade deals yourself.
Indeed.
You can have your own trade deals. People, depict the EU as this great thing that can get these great trade deals, but no, I'm not really seeing it. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you are not seeing it, but you are special.
Because I know that we as the Dutch, for instance, we can set up way better trade deals that actually benefit our economy instead of having this monolith of a international organization try and put us in the same trade organization that also deals with countries like Greece or manufacturing country like Germany or Sweden.
There are problems with the EU. Yes. There are benefits too, but I'm beginning to think that the problems outweigh the benefits. In fact, I've always thought the problems outweighed the benefits from the moment it was described to me in school.
I mean, it has its benefits. Like, there's no longer, roaming fees. Yay! Now I can go abroad and not pay extra if I want to use my internet on my phone.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I can go to the cheapest country in Europe and get a phone plan there.
Except that I think if you make calls abroad, it will cost you.
No, roaming also includes calls.
I would
Yeah,
imagine.
if you get calls.
But the thing is, like, it's of course handled in such a way because of course companies were very strictly against it because corporations. So basically, it's just more roaming as long as it's reasonable, just for like vacation. Because if they see that you are kind of using it for over half a year, then yeah, it's not really roaming anymore. But yeah, it's bullshit. But of course, everyone was shitting their pants because over here, the telecom would be like completely losing all its customers because everyone would just get the contracts from Astra because they are laughing at our contracts.
Obviously, they got these kinks worked out. But
how expensive are German phone contracts?
Apparently, they're very expensive. From what I gather from back, the phone contracts in Germany are pretty shit. I mean, over here you can get like unlimited internets and phone calls for like 30 quid a month.
How unlimited? Like after 3 gigabytes, you get your internet slowed down a lot?
Nope.
Because
Unlimited.
that's like because
unlimited. Unlimited. The catch is there's a catch though. The catch is that after 5 gigabytes on a given day, so if you've been watching YouTube videos nonstop on your phone while you're out and about, after 5 gigabytes, you get a little SMS that says, okay, you've been using quite a lot of internets. Just send us a message and we'll renew your limit. No problem.
You are using 5 internets.
Yeah, you've been using 5 internets. Slow down a bit. But still.
For mobile internet,
yeah, but just a bit.
Day, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Like I get 7 gigabytes a month on my €20 plan.
Yeah, so yeah.
Which is probably about as much as you get with a satellite internet these days.
Yeah.
So in other words, you just send them the SMS message, which is also free, and they'll reset your limit. You can download another 5 gigabytes. And I honestly, I've got a 1 gigabyte plan, and I don't even use that. So having 5 gigs.
But over here it's like if you use basically it's for the whole month. So I have 3 gigabytes. I have 103 minutes. For normal phone calls or 103 SMS. Of course, 1 minute use is also up one of those free SMS because they shared this budget or something. Say I got 3 gigabytes and I pay €30 for it, and I think I got a kind of good deal on it.
That's €30.
Yeah,
I get
€30.
about twice that for 20.
Yeah, exactly.
I get 300 minutes, 300 texts, and 7 gigabytes of data for 20 minutes. And that's what a prepaid phone, so like the phone's already paid for. There's no contract subsidy for the phone.
Yeah, and I got also just a contract without a phone. And still, as you see, the contracts in Germany are kind of shitty.
Yeah.
Meanwhile,
not...
in Austria, I have like I think 20 euro for like 15 gigabytes or something.
Well, Austria's already been kind of odd in that regard. It's an odd country. It shouldn't exist. We should just abolish it.
I've always found this kind of data based on a unit cap limit very strange when it's applied to the internet. Because it doesn't make much sense. Like, the data on the internet's not a finite thing. It's not like you download 7 gigabytes off the internet and that's 7 gigabytes.
No, it's not a finite thing. It's more about, you have all those how do you say, all those towers, all those
yeah, it's about concurrent
and
capacity.
they have only so much capacity to to send at a time, and basically if everyone is suddenly downloading with full LTE speed, then it's gonna be pretty much busy.
I can see why they would give
but it's also like the thing that I don't understand. Why do we get speeds like basically like with almost like with fiber? What do I know? I think I have like 21 megabytes per second
on your phone. That's pretty solid.
Yeah, but why? I don't need that much, but I get 21 megabytes a second if I use it up. Then but I wouldn't mind if I, for example, just had like 2 megabytes per second on a phone.
But it was unlimited. I would agree.
Exactly. And way more people could use it at the same time instead of like 20 people with 21 Mbits or 10 times as much with 2 Mbits. And
it's a very strange pricing policy to me. It doesn't make any sense.
But it's apparently that's how phone companies make their money, and there are market forces that, at least over here, make sure that people get the most internets for the least amount of money.
Well, no, see, that's the thing. There isn't any market forces because there's basically a monopoly on it. So there are no competing plans that are different. If there was a genuine market for phones, you would see completely different trends evolve.
But there are, because at least over here, what happened was, okay, so in the beginning, and we're talking about like 10 years ago, in the beginning, there was internet on your phone. It was new and wow, and you'd get unlimited internet for 10 a month.
And people pay for it, right?
Yeah.
And they got their unlimited internet.
And they did deliver. Good. I remember downloading entire podcasts on my phone just because I could.
And then they decided that selling people what they wanted wasn't good, right? And they changed it.
Well, what happened was, okay, so it started out with these unlimited plans because they figured, okay, no one's actually really using it. They were actually kind of trying to push it. They were sending out phones with the internet capability and everything. And people weren't just using it very extensively because, well, the phones are fairly primitive. But then something happened, and it had the name iPhone. iPhone happened. Doom, doom, doom.
And so that's how we can tell that iPhone already won history, because apparently iPhone were, of course, the first one who had an internet-capable phone.
Well, that was a funny thing.
So Apple succeeded in doing that part of history, because there were quite some internet-capable phones, even with touchscreen.
Yes,
but
exactly, but the iPhone happened, so it made it very accessible, and then everyone started to do apps and shit, and it basically, well, for one thing, they saw an opportunity to make a lot of money, but that also seemed to legitimately clog up the network that they set up back then. And you have to keep in mind, back then we were talking about G2 or G3, so it wasn't exactly the high-speed internet that we're used to today.
You
So-
think our mobile network's faster than G3 today?
It is.
Uh,
I mean,
No,
G3
yours
was.
might be. I'm lucky to get hate. I'm lucky to get E sometimes.
Wow, that is pretty shitty. I'm sorry. You have my condolences.
But our wired internet's fine though, so it's okay.
And now that you mention it, yes, when I was in Ireland, I did notice that I wasn't exactly getting the fastest internet all the time.
Well,
Also there was.
you think that's bad? Try being me.
Well, yeah, I can only imagine what it's like to live in a second world country when it comes to
More like
internet speed.
living 1,800 meters from the closest node.
I'm
GG.
sorry. You have American internet.
Lol.
Top K.
Well, no, Penboy. I have the option to switch providers.
Oh, sick burn.
That is a sick burn. I'm sorry, our 1.2 American viewers, but it's true. You know it to be true.
Yeah, Trajan.
Yeah, Tridge. When you're listening to this, like 3 months in the future, I'm sorry. I'm sorry for making fun of your internet. I hope you get Google Fiber real fast. Maybe sometime. You know, maybe in 2023. I don't know, something like that. But maybe we should try and go back to the topic we were discussing. So Hamburg, and specifically Antifa, because I'm fairly sure, you know, there were two kinds of protesters. There were the people that were legitimately, you know, concerned that, yeah, look, we don't like G20, you know, you guys are a bunch of dicks, and also having this thing take place in Hamburg is not exactly the best idea ever. It is a very left-wing city, and
It is the most left-wing city in Germany.
well, I can confirm. I was in Hamburg, and goddamn, it just looks like a very left-wing place. Not that it's inherently wrong.
Does it
because
look like a burg made of ham?
yeah, that too. Also, yeah, I when I was in Hamburg, I tried looking for a hamburger, and there wasn't a single place that claimed to be the birthplace of the hamburger,
Well,
which was
disappointing.
really odd to me. Like, this is so many gullible tourists you can lure in to sell you, to even pretend to be, you know, the originator of the hamburger.
Well,
I'm
the
pretty
problem
sure there
is
are laws
it's-
against it.
It's in the European Union, so it's regulated, so you can't do that, Artrix.
Probably. There go again, you know, being an
EU is
entrepreneurial
very
spirit.
anti-fun.
Yeah. So there we go, being an entrepreneurial spirit, can't have that. Of course.
But also, you can't have national pride in
Oh,
Germany.
yeah,
I mean, after all, we called some of our gems a marmalade, and EU was like, no.
Don't you know having any kind of national pride for your country makes you a Nazi?
Mhm.
I,
Well,
I saw it on a picture in the Holocaust Museum. That makes it true.
Wait, they literally said that if you have any sort of pride for being in a country and being a citizen of your country makes you a
Yes,
Nazi?
national pride is a sign of Nazi fascism.
Only if you are white.
That reminds me the Czech band that was playing today, and they were Czech, and we're like, yeah, glad to play in Czech Republic and being in the midst of our people. And they had a really, really big turnout, like bigger than some of the what do you call it? I don't know. No, not headliners, but like the big names, I guess that played around that time. It's
Okay.
kind of funny.
But back to the definition of fascism that people are using right now to call everyone fascists. It's yeah, but I saw it posted on the internet, and it was this photograph of a poster from the Holocaust Museum, and it was just a list of traits that made your country that you should look out for to see if your country is becoming fascist. And the top of the list was, national pride, patriotism.
Mhm.
It's like, okay,
Well, there are.
of course,
there
makes
is-
all Americans Nazis by that. But
Oh,
that's
yeah.
only one of the many signs of Nazism. There was or fascism. There was about 20 of them. And I'm trying to find the poster so I can quote some of them.
Yes.
But it's this kind of stuff. I mean, it's really vague and applicable to basically anyone kind
That
of
is
stuff.
the point.
And that's why it's not a law.
That's
It's
usually the
kinda
case
like
with this
that-
sort of. Yeah, go
Kind
ahead.
of like back during George W. Bush's regime, when the meaning of the word terrorist
Which
actually
basically meant
defined
anyone who,
such a way that anyone who disagrees with the U.S. government.
pretty much. Then that's essentially the right-wing equivalent of what they're trying to do now.
Well, that definitely makes Obama and Trump terrorists.
Indeed. But it's like
Not really, because now they are the government.
But
Well,
they
you know what I
disagree with
mean.
it. And that's why
It is-
they became the government.
it's pretty hilarious though, the Antifa, the people dressing up in all black and marching in unison like some kind of, I don't know,
So,
Nazi
yeah,
army.
That's completely different, fanboy. They had brown shirts.
yeah, and
Huh?
they're clad in black, and that's completely coincidental. I've not seen any videos where they go around the corner, take off their clothes, and then mingle with the quote unquote regular protesters.
And then also another thing that the Holocaust Museum sign said was like control of the media, which I don't think the lefties have at all, right?
Nope, they don't control the media at all. They
But
completely lost
obviously,
control.
Trump has control of the media that's constantly shitting all over him.
Well, he controls it by telling them that he's not going to talk to them.
As a matter of fact, he controls it so much that that CNN was like, you know what, this guy that made a meme, we're just gonna go ahead and dox him. That's how much control Trump has over the media.
Ah, yes.
Well, he deserves it for taking those 2 scoops of ice cream.
The CNN wrestling meme.
Yeah.
Good God, how did that? How did CNN think it was okay to make that art? To even publish that? Like, oh, look at this. There's an attack against CNN. Look at this wrestling GIF edited to put our logo on it. My God, we're so offended. Meanwhile, look at this other picture of a lady beheading Trump. This is totally okay.
They still think they have power. That's the problem. Like, the reality is kind of missing them.
CNN, if it's okay for one party to do it, then it should be okay for the other party. Do you not
But
see?
that's not how liberals work.
Do you not see the dissonance here? Do you not see how you're contradicting yourself?
I mean, I didn't. Okay, to be perfectly fair, there was this case with the play in New York, which was essentially a reimagining of something Caesar, where they essentially replaced the main antagonist with Trump, and they had Trump assassinated during the play. And someone in the audience was like, yeah, you're all Goebbels, it's an attack, blah, 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 and you're all terrible people and should be banned. But they are allowed to do that.
They are.
That's free speech. Actually.
When Obama was the president, that play had a Obama in it.
Yeah, exactly. So it isn't even anything new. They've been doing this shit all the fucking time. It's every new president has a new play. You know, when in 2020, what was it? When in 2020, I don't know, Doomfist becomes president. If in 2020 Doomfist becomes president, it's gonna be a play about Doomfist. Now he's going to fist someone to death and then gets killed by the same methods.
He's going to get fisted by 37 people.
Though obviously the next president's gonna be a neo-Sarkeesian. That's gonna be, president in 2020.
But yes, of course. Then speaking of the web harassment, of course, what CNN then followed up to do after being so violently attacked by wrestling gifs was to hunt down or attempt to hunt down the person who created the gif.
That's reasonable, obviously.
By tracing it all the way back to Reddit, which is not where it came from, and finding the person who posted it there, and deciding that person was the originator.
Yeah.
Are you saying that CNN, the prime fake news outlet, like they were called fake news before everybody else, Are you saying they are shit at their job?
Yes, because even
Yes.
a cursory comparison between the GIF Trump tweeted and the one on Reddit you would notice a significant difference. The one on Reddit was just a GIF. The one Trump posted was a video with audio.
Indeed.
But then again, this is CNN we're talking about.
I know, but still, this minor difference completely went over their heads, which is startling, honestly. So not only did they hunt down a person who did not actually make the GIF that Trump tweeted because it was different than the one they traced down, and then they threatened. They were like, "Hey, this man apologized to us. We didn't talk to him though. He just came out and apologized. So we are not going to publish all his identifiable information. Although we might, if he steps out of line."
Yep, exactly. If any of the CNN reserves the right to publish this information if any of
Can't
it
he actually?
changes.
Can't they be sued for this? By the way,
Actually, I
doesn't it violate certain laws?
think
Actually,
they can.
recently I believe they
But
did
if
make
he
a...
sues them, they are going to release his identity.
Well,
And
that's going to happen anyway. But I think recently there was a case in America where someone actually had the process of doxing formally declared illegal. So, yes, CNN threatening to blackmail someone with an illegal action is 100% illegal in the US now, I think. Quote
Makes
on that.
sense.
So yeah, CNN have dug themselves a very stupid hole.
Yep.
now, if someone sued them, I think U.S. law allows you to sue even if you are not the damaged person.
Oh, really?
But can you sue yourself?
You
So you
probably
can
can.
sue. You can sue on behalf of somebody else.
Not sure. I'm not entirely sure, but I think it's possible. Not sure.
Oh,
Well, I
You're
know
the
that
lawyer,
actually what you're saying has to be possible because say you're walking down the street, right?
Mhm.
And you have no family, no friends, and then somebody murders you.
Yeah.
Now, if a third party couldn't sue them for the damages against you, because you have no third party to do so, how would the government be able to step in if there was no law for that?
Public prosecutor.
But yeah, so a public prosecutor does indeed have to sue on your behalf to get that person sent in jail for murdering you.
Yes.
Yeah.
But yeah, usually in that case, a public prosecutor will make his case, because for one thing, it's a murder, and it's the state that has to sue the perpetrator, especially if there's no one next in kin. So if there's no one to sue, well, you still commit a crime that resulted in the termination of someone's life. So you kind of need someone to sue them. Which would be the government. The government's like, no, this is against the law, and we're gonna enforce it, god damn it. Which is apparently
Indeed.
very controversial these days, of enforcing the law. Like,
Oh yeah, enforcement of the law is terrible. Like, how do you know the person committed a crime if there's no feminist to tell you that he did?
exactly.
Oh, and that was something else I read about recently. Actually, speaking of feminists accusing people, Title IX in America is coming under review because a judge in America has decided to look at these Title IX cases and all these menfolk in America having their lives ruined over very vague and inspecific accusations of regret rape, and she's like, no, this is bad.
So for non-Americans, can you explain to us what this what was it?
The Title IX.
Title IX. What is it?
It's a law that was, well, it's not so much a law as it's a college rule that the government imposed on colleges that say in order to expedite the treatment of assault cases on college campuses and to kind of defer some of the responsibility away from the actual lawmakers.
Is it as bad as Mighty Number 9?
Yes,
probably
it's
is.
just as bad. So yeah, they deferred the decisions of assault cases to colleges rather than having to clog up the public works with them.
Bad idea. Very
and
bad idea.
So they basically told colleges also, yes, just make sure that you prosecute all the men because they're men and therefore guilty. And that's been happening for quite a long time. The men in colleges have not been getting fair trials, and women have just been saying, "Oh, yeah, I had sex with that guy at a drunken party 6 months ago, and yeah, he raped me." Then they would just say, "Oh yes,
Listen and leave." So, yep.
You had sex while drunk. That is rape.
Yep.
And
you didn't explicitly use the app that is supposed to determine and record and register that you both were in fact drunk and consented to have sex.
But also,
you also didn't do the paperwork.
It doesn't matter if the boy is drunk. He's a rapist regardless, even if the woman's sober. It's very bizarre. There was even a case. Oh, there was literally a case I read about where a guy was passed out on a couch, and the girl performed fellatio on him, and then she later accused him of sexual assault.
Because
he was passed out.
Because he dared to be in the same room as her, and he was just tempting her with that hot rod between his legs. He just couldn't resist.
Yeah, this really sounds like inverted Sharia law.
Yeah, it's absurd, and it's finally being looked at by a judge in the States, and which is just very good. It's actual progress, because it's been a huge problem there.
University actually give serious sentences, like actual jail time.
No, see, that's the thing. Title IX things don't really go to real court, and that's part of the problem. Whenever these cases actually go to court, they're usually thrown out. But even if you just get accused of something in college, it ruins your career because it becomes public. Everyone knows that you've been accused of doing this horrendous thing, even regardless of whether it's been properly investigated or not. So
just
usually,
accusation is enough to fuck over your life.
Yeah.
Because people are like, I'm not gonna hire this rapist, but I was only accused. Yep, you're a rapist.
So a lot of guys just would get kicked out of college and be completely unable to get careers afterwards, and it was just kind of shitty. And that's still the case, but it is being investigated now, which is good. It's very good.
So yeah, maybe they'll rule it unconstitutional or some shit. They're like,
no, it's definitely unconstitutional because the guys were not getting trials at all.
You kind of need due process. If you're not getting due process, it's kind of, that's kind of unconstitutional. I think that's one of the first amendments in the American Constitution that says that everyone's entitled to
a fair court.
Yeah.
But the funny thing is, even under the stipulations of Title IX, it wasn't being followed properly. Like the Title IX stipulation did say that that the rulings did require a preponderance of evidence, to declare someone guilty, which basically means beyond reasonable doubt. It's just another way of phrasing it. So the fact that people are getting sent to court, this kind of Trump, or what we call this non-court, but it's happening 6 months after the fact when there's literally no evidence one way or the other because, well, too much time has passed and any evidence that might have existed is gone now. Like these aren't murder investigations where you can randomly find a knife buried under someone's couch 27 years later with DNA on it.
Nope.
But
after 6 months, all that shit is gone.
Yeah, because there's
well, unless there's pregnancy, but.
Yes, no, but yeah, that's it's being fixed. I hope. And that would be good for American men everywhere.
Unless something happens to the judge suddenly.
Yes. And the best thing about it is it's a female judge that's doing it. I've been trying to find the article I read
Isn't
about.
Christina Hoff Sommers? Did she suddenly become a judge?
No.
That would be sick burn though if the feminists catch wind of it. They're like, oh my god, this traitor. Let's find her, and then they find out, oh my god, it's based mom. It was those gamer gators all along. And then she's like, what? I'm a feminist.
And she's like, traitor is my gender.
And that too. She identifies as a traitor. And her pronouns are trait, traitor, and her traits. For
Right self.
trait self, yeah. Anyway, I think I think that was all about that. And well, maybe does anyone have anything to add about Antifa in Hamburg, other than well, they're a bunch
No.
of, you know, they're taking selfies on their iPhones fighting capitalism.
I would like I would
saw-
like to give them a proper like communist socialism. It would be interesting.
Maybe
Well,
do that,
all
maybe.
you have to do is send them to North Korea.
I did
I'm
see
not
a
sure
few
if North
videos.
Korea would,
West Korea.
I'm not
Well,
sure. if North-
that's like the best of the best when it comes to that. That's like Russia under Stalin.
Actually, I think I have a better idea. Send them to Venezuela.
Oh yes, they
And
can
that's-
enjoy glorious socialism there.
You know, that then they can experience just how successful it is and how, you know, great a centrally planned economy is.
Talking about centrally planned economies, Hungary wants to put shooting ranges in schools.
How
They want
does,
to
What?
put them in.
What?
so they want to teach school children how to shoot shit?
Good
Not
idea.
children, like slightly bigger children,
Still,
like
sounds
teenagers.
yeah, the teenagers are children. Let's not kid ourselves here.
And I mean, Artrix. This is like Central Europe.
Okay.
This is not the
Glorious.
pondered and pampered West. I was shooting an air rifle when I was 6.
Okay.
Well, I would assert that regardless of how available weaponry is in your country, everyone should be trained in the basic.
And you are Irish.
safety.
You were firing live ammo when you were 3.
Not quite when I was 3, but but yeah, I think everyone should be taught basic firearm safety, regardless of where you live, just in case you ever encounter one.
EU is not happy because you know they spent the last half year trying to take people's weapons and build an army.
And now this
Wow.
now this country is doing the exact opposite. They're like, well,
Yeah.
we're going to make our populace more gun savvy. We're
It's not like the EU should have any fear of the population of EU countries becoming upset with it and trying to push back against it with our.
Oh,
Wait, what was that happened in Hamburg?
I can imagine, you know, being at home. There's this big protest going on. Some of these people storm my store or home or whatever, and I'd actually be pretty happy to be able to say,
Bam!
I got a fucking gun. Get out of my property.
Get out of my country.
Oh yeah, as they say, no. I mean, most of them are your countrymen, but you know, that's irrelevant. It's my property. I paid for this. It's mine, not yours, and I'm gonna defend it. I'm gonna
But
defend my
seriously-
life and the life of my.
Can someone actually explain to me why Antifa even exists in Europe, in the most socialist countries, like Hamburg and
Okay, from what I managed to gather, one of the major catalysts of the formation of Antifa was that there was this protest in Western Germany. It ended up with one of them being shot by a cop, and they went totally batshit crazy, and now there's Antifa, and they're
So a
essentially
single protester who was probably
Oh.
violent got shot, and that means the entire government is a fascist dictatorship.
I mean,
I
that's how
guess.
Black
It's-
Lives Matter got started.
It's kind of the same mentality like you have with GWs on the internet. I mean, they operate on the like principle that when you have an unjust system, then you have to rise up against it, which is that's fine, that's okay. But they kind of they heavily depend
It's
on
true,
said
but-
system. They just think they are the unfairly oppressed masses, and then every time the unfairly oppressed masses are like, we don't like the stuff you're doing to us for decades, are like, oh no, you're fascists.
But that's what's confusing me. What countries in Europe are this oppressive and unfair to their own people? I mean, okay, I understand that people are upset in Germany and France because of that giant wave of immigration that's come across and bombed half their country. But
Now you're being
that
racist.
doesn't seem to be the thing that Antifa are complaining about. Antifa seem to be complaining that we're not giving those people money who are blowing them up.
Maybe
This
the
is
members of Antifa are not like ordinary people.
Well, judging by the tactics and also the kind of clothing and flags they have around, also just look at their official flag. They're anarcho-communists, which in itself is retardation because they believe in communism but also in anarchy. So
Yeah, but they-
Those-
You know what you get when you combine communism and anarchism. You get Stone Age tribes, pretty
Yeah.
much.
But basically, because what you get is, yeah, man, everyone should own everything. Abolish property rights. Everyone owns everything. Like that house. You guys can live there, and you guys can live there, and you know you can just go in and live there.
Well, let's
But-
burn all the other houses.
But doesn't Germany have powerful social schemes and
It-
good
it-
welfare
It does.
Yeah, but
and,
these
and
guys
government healthcare?
Now that it's being taxed by the migrants, not that much.
Oh, but you know, it's by no means perfect. But Germany, like any other major European country, has a fairly comprehensive social
Well,
security
Back would
system.
know best, don't you?
They love finding excuses to not pay the welfare if they can.
But yeah, every country does. But
Yes.
it's still there.
I mean,
It's like this.
Like you were describing that you had to go to some office just in case you didn't you know, just in case you'd lose your job.
Yeah.
That there are agencies out there that will try and take care of you when things go south, which you know we call
Yeah,
a
the thing
social
about those
safety net.
agencies is basically that the offers that the job offers that they give you are kind of often nonsensical.
Hmm.
Like,
Well,
for example,
yes.
there are, of course, very often cases, for example, that someone who used to work in an office, because also someone who has a rather frail body, you know, he is not really, you know, physically strong, and then he gets a job offer for some job at construction work. As a
Yeah.
construction worker, that's
sound-
not really.
Sounds like a typical thing a government agency like that would do. They, they're like, yep.
So Beck, are you telling me that you have a welfare system in Germany set up in such a way that if you lose your job, they'll get you another job?
No, that's not how it works. They only give you like suggestions. Like you can apply there, apply there, apply there. It's not a guarantee that you will get the job, because I know it exactly from my brother right now, because he's also he's unemployed. Basically, he gets like all those job offers, and he also saying
Are they
because
actually offers? Because to be honest,
well,
my
not
welfare
really
system-
job offers. Just I'm saying job offers, but it's really like they send you like kind of addresses. Yes, you can apply there. You can apply there.
Oh, okay, yeah. So they're just giving you the classifieds. That they're
job
just saying, oh,
ads.
there are jobs here you can apply, but there's no guarantee of getting any.
Yeah.
and you're
Yeah,
probably
They
forced.
they often, of course, you know, give you some stupid offers or like.
No.
And
Because
that's
you know, honestly, if you said that they would offer you the construction worker job, I would be like, I'd be all over that right now.
yeah, you would be, but there are like genuinely people that really can't handle that kind of.
Like,
There are just people that aren't made
I
for
weigh
physical labor.
7.5 stone. I have no meat on my body, but
Yeah.
I would still carry a
Yeah.
bag of cement. in
You
my
are
head.
you. There always different people.
I mean, I'm not physically able to.
That's
Hamburg.
nice for you.
You are using stones as the measure of weight. They wouldn't accept you in Germany.
No, that would
No, someone who uses stones as a measure of weight is most likely fit to do a construction working job because
Look, only body weight.
Because you'd be hauling stones.
But yeah, Kronti actually did a fairly interesting video where he basically explained that in Germany, for instance, if you decide to go to college, so in the United States you go to college and you can basically do whatever the fuck you want. So he decided to do gender studies, and then you do the course, you get out, and then you discover that your degree is worthless because there's absolutely no demand for it. Whereas in Germany, they're like
studying how to be a gender.
Whereas in Germany, apparently they're like, hey, so you want to do gender studies, right? And you're like, yes, and like, well, fuck off. Why? Well, you see, we're going to spend tax money to make you into a productive citizen, right? And you want to major in something that's gonna make you completely unproductive and, you know, trained to do a job that's not in demand at all.
no.
So,
I know what you have watched, but that's not the case at all. Of course, we also have gender studies over in Germany, and
Yes.
people can do it.
Yeah, but there's
You
like
have German studies.
yeah, it's not like those courses don't exist, but there's like quotas for them. So if you want to do gender studies paid for by the taxpayer partially, because there's also tuition fees to be paid by the
I know.
student themselves, but they're all subsidized, so it's not as bad as, for instance, American system where you basically get out of school with a mortgage that you have to pay off. Anyway, so there are these quotas, and if way too many people are going into gender studies, they will probably say we will not subsidize this course because there are too many fucking people going to gender studies. You don't have the qualifications for it, and we don't think you'll be able to find a job if you do. So instead, we're going to suggest you do this instead, which is, you know, related to your interests, but not entirely.
Yeah, usually, high demand courses also have like a numerous clauses that basically means if your grade is worse than this and this, you can't get in this year. Like, yes, you get on a waiting list, and apparently then it kind of makes up that the longer you wait, the better your grade, quote unquote, gets. Basically, if you were below the threshold, and then you just need to wait long enough, then you can get in.
Yeah, it's basically to ensure that the graduates that come from these courses are most likely to end up having some sort of employment. So it's not being wasted. And he also argued that because of this, it's a good thing that there's like public service and whatnot, because, you know, since your community, like your fellow citizens, are chipping in to send you to school, it only makes sense that you are, you know, sent to the army or to do community service. And we're talking about like working full time to earn like 40 quid a week or something like that. It's basically peanuts. But you'd be working with elderly people and whatnot, and, you know, making some sort of difference in the world instead of just sitting home playing video or something like that.
Which is very productive.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's way more productive than going
I'm
to a
trying to
retirement
understand
home.
what you just said, but
He's saying that the German government encourages you to take college positions that would actually be beneficial.
yeah, I understood that.
That's all. He just said that with lots of words.
And also that because of that, there are these. You either have to serve in the military or you.
Oh, we abolished it. We abolished it a few years
Yeah,
ago.
but
I was the last year that actually got into the process of being like sorted.
Sounds very German.
Yeah, but
abolition
he
of
argued
military.
for it because for one thing, it gives you some social skills. You're forced in a situation where you have to interact with other people and make yourself useful in a.
Those are the worst situations.
They are.
Yes.
But, you know, that's kind of, social skills are some of the most important skills for actually progressing as a human being in modern society, which is why I have never progressed anywhere as a human being in modern society. I have no social skills whatsoever.
I mean, having skills like technical skill and whatnot is one thing, but if you can't bullshit yourself through a job interview, then you might be the greatest genius out there, but if Jack over there comes and is like, yo, yeah, I'm the best, hire me, I'm such an awesome person, and I'm a really nice guy to be around, I have a very pleasant smile.
Maybe
and
that's also because some people, haven't get taught proper social skills.
well,
Because
Some people just don't develop them.
yeah,
I'm pretty sure school does a great deal to try and prepare you for that.
no, hell no.
It does. In school they teach you how to, write with proper etiquette. They teach you basic communication skills like reading and writing. That's a big one.
Yeah, they tell you how to write, and they tell you that the mitochondria is the powerhouse of that cell.
But they do not actually teach you how to not be beaten in the face by the school bully, or why he's doing it, or how to fix this problem.
And they also
which
don't.
would be the
Yeah,
which are
There's
the
a
soft
fair
skills
chance they
on that.
encourage him.
And also they
I-
don't
that's
teach you how to do your taxes. That's also a big one. It's
They
government.
actually taught us that one in university as
Yeah,
part
in
of financial.
yeah, in university.
University.
Yeah, but
I mean, they taught me some, accounting in university, and that was an art school. So it is being taught, but not, you'd expect school to teach you, every year you're gonna have this letter from the government. It's like, okay, you have to do your taxes, and these are the steps you have to do to do it properly. They don't do that. And it's weird because here you are in a government institution that is supposed to turn you into a proper citizen to serve the government, and they're not teaching you how to be citizen, except for being able to read and write and basic economic concepts and whatnot.
But the funny thing is, they do overly focus in schools on things that are basically irrelevant for forward living. I mean, they're subject like
History.
which is, it's good to learn history, especially if you're interested in it, but it does very little for you moving forward in your life as a data processing engineer, or as a construction worker, or as a clerk in Woody's, or
Yeah,
as a
that's-
CEO of a multinational company.
yeah, but the thing that I actually have to give history, even though I hated it in school, I have to give it that basically, if you see a situation happening somewhere in the news or something, you are like, something similar happened in history before, because usually people should learn from history. That's basically like the concept behind it. To not repeat certain mistakes, and that's the point of history, because if people don't learn history, they aren't aware that someone did that mistake already once and they can't avoid it.
Also
I
looking
mean,
at
yes, of course, I don't freaking care which year something happened, but I care that something important happened.
I agree that history is important on the macro level for looking at great political events and stuff like that, but I don't think it should be forced on students the way it is in school, in the most uninteresting way possible, and it is just set out to you as something you need to learn by rote so you can regurgitate it onto an exam.
That I agree on, but like on micro level, I think it's very.
I think
it's
we're all on the same
important.
page here, because yes, the way history is taught in school is terrible. Also, history in school, as it is taught in school today, is extremely rudimentary. It's like,
You don't actually learn anything if you learn something by rote. You're just repeating it.
yeah, you're just
It's-
regurgitating facts that you memorize specifically for a specific test, and then you just forget all about it because you just don't give a shit. And I noticed that a lot about the way I attempted to learn French, because I just didn't care. It was so fucking boring, and I didn't care at all. And that's not how you learn anything.
Yeah, it's the same with languages in the schools. The way they teach it, you read through the language textbook and you try to remember a few rules, but they very rarely actually try to make the class talk in that language. Because if you want to learn a language, you need to actually use it in practice. It's It's the only way. It's why courses that are more like apprenticeships are much better than school learning. If you give a guy, if you get 10 guys together and you go into a room and you give them a hammer and a chisel and you say, let's make a table, those 10 people are going to know how to make a table. They will. If you give them a book that gives you the step-by-step instructions on how to make a table with a hammer and chisel and make them learn it off by memory, those people are going to stand out that room having no fucking idea how to make a table.
That's kind of what my school did. We actually, had some hands-on classes where we had to build shit. We had like a workshop and.
Actually. But it's only for that really traditional kind of work.
Yeah.
Only the work people consider to be really traditional. But it's really kind of hard to describe how much of an issue I have with that. I guess what maths.
Actually, in school, we in the later classes, even in high school, there was a point where the teacher was like, "So now we are only talking English." Like the complete, how do you say, a class was only done in English.
Oh yeah, one of my exams for English was basically me and my teacher sitting down and just, having a chat. But the rule was.
Yeah, but that's something different in
I
the
know what you
Netherlands.
mean.
But in Germany, we had there was some point where we basically just if it was English class, then everyone was just talking English in it. Like the questions that were asked, everything, the exercise and everything was done.
Have you noticed something back? You and Artrix can speak English.
Yes.
But the thing is, I still in classes I got terrible marks in classes, like really terrible.
But it did help you actually learn the language by making you speak English in those classes.
It just means you don't know how to do the grammar. That's all.
I mean, yes. I even remember when I just met you back. Your English used to be not as fluent as it is now. And
I once got minus points because there was a word that we were supposed to translate, and it was a word that means road and journey, right? We use it interchangeably. It's the same thing for both. And since I mostly knew all the words back then, I did not look at the words for the lesson, and obviously they wanted the translation for the lesson.
Oh, did you just translate each word individually rather than taking it into context?
No, it was they just gave us a paper with words, and we were supposed to translate those words as they were, and they expected that we are memorizing the words for the lesson.
That's terrible.
I'm not sure if that actually works, but
I think in the entire textbook there are like 2 words that I actually had to look up because I didn't know.
But how did you get negative points if you did know the word?
Oh, I knew it, but it wasn't the first one I thought of. And since I didn't know that it's in the list for this lesson, because I don't think in the list, because I know the words.
Good job.
Anyway, we have about 10 minutes
and that's the sole reason why I can't speak English.
And the only reason. The internet had nothing to do with it. Nothing at all.
It's that one negative point I got.
Yep.
Okay, since we have 10 minutes left, I have the most important topic of them all.
Since I mentioned Hungary first. Hungary, we probably remember that they don't like Soros very much, and then
say your take. Just do it.
They passed some laws against universities that are backed by other countries. Well, there was a poster, and the poster said, "Don't let him win." And then Israel was like, "Oh my God, you are so Jew-phobic, Hungary." They didn't mention that Soros was a Jew. Like what? No. Now, Buck, say your thing.
Yeah, AMD announced Threadripper and Ryzen 3 officially now. Threadripper, the models and the prices.
Okay, because we already knew that Threadripper was gonna be a thing, but now it's officially announced, and so the 12-core CPU is gonna be £1,000, as in dollars.
No, the 12-core CPU is gonna be $799.
The 16. Sorry, the 16.
You know. Yeah,
Oh
and
my.
the 16-core CPU is gonna be $999, and they showed some Cinebench runs, and they are
16
scaling pretty
cores.
well.
Is that 16 cores with like multi-threading? So is it? Would you
Yes.
have
Yeah, multi-threaded,
Yes.
so that's
32 threads?
yes.
Yes.
That is fucking insane.
I kind of want this CPU for rendering.
And they, of course, she couldn't also keep out the remark against Intel because she said they are absolutely on track with Threadripper, and they're gonna release it at the beginning of August.
Intel's
Okay.
getting wrecked right now.
Yeah, because they kinda had to rush the release of Skylake X, and it's a mess, a very hot mess, partially because apparently their CPUs are getting hot, their VRMs are not getting cooled properly, and mainboard manufacturers already are doing revisions on the mainboards.
Yeah, Intel really screwed the
Yeah.
pooch on this one. Really lazy soldering jobs, apparently.
Mm.
Like that was
No. The Skylake X CPUs are not soldered. They just have the toothpaste as interface materials. So people have to delete them, use their own metal-based thermal interface material, and then it's a bit better.
Yeah, see, but that was the thing. Most of the old CPUs had like this is all inside the casing for the CPU. You're not supposed to be able to get to this stuff,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
And originally on the previous CPUs, all of that was like metal soldered onto the heatsink, so there was like metal conductivity. And now,
Exactly.
as you said, it's just toothpaste instead of
Yeah, and meanwhile, Ryzen, even the consumer CPUs are still soldered. They still use metal solder as connections. It is still possible to delete them, but like it's very, very high effort because you have to heat the CPU to kind of loosen up the solder.
Yeah,
You want to
because
do
that's
that.
the way
But
most PCBs are done in an oven, right? Well, not an oven, but it's like a superheated environment that melts all the solder, and then you just shove the parts in and then let it cool, and it's all fucked.
I believe
but
it's
it's
how you
still-
solder stuff.
but it's still done properly, and that's basic. And it's still done properly. So AMD did a way better job, and also on the server market because apparently Intel is so afraid that they kind of did a PowerPoint presentations to show how crappy AMD is because like the Epic platform is giving also the Intel a run for its money because it's very attractive.
It's like, look at this PowerPoint we made. Look how it says all these numbers on our chips are bigger than theirs. And then someone puts up their hand. Excuse me, but what about in practical situations? Do they look at our numbers. Our numbers are bigger. Look at them.
It's almost as if they got the marketing manager for the Jaguar campaign.
They are
back in
bigger,
the 90s.
except for the conveniently omitted number, of course.
32 bits is more. 64 is more than 16. Do the
Yeah,
math.
but they say amazing things like that the Epic CPUs are just two consumer chips glued together. Like I linked it in the Radio Rothingham
And this
channel.
guy goes, so are you saying
that's
that
mostly
two
what Threadripper
consumer
is.
chips glued together are better than our high-end Xeons? And then he's like, no.
Yeah, but apparently, like this Infinity Fabric that AMD is using to connect like the cores or like the units of Ryzen is working so good that apparently, at least at Threadripper, it's up almost linear scaling. It's still going so well.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That sounds good. It's probably some kind of weird carbon nanotube or something to, splice with steel and hyperconductive gold superconductors with fridge magnets in it. Everyone needs fridge magnets.
Mm.
And don't forget to make a graph that shows you being better than the other person by 0.3%, but make it start at 100.
Yeah, but that's the amazing thing that kind of AMD is kind of relevant again. They have non-shit products now.
Yeah, I'm considering come August maybe going to the bank and saying, hey, I need to upgrade my computer. My old computer is on fire sometimes. So can you give me $2,000?
Well, then
Well,
don't buy Intel Skylake X, because then you will need a fire extinguisher with it.
Well, yes, see that's what I'm getting to back. I'm thinking maybe I'll actually get a high performance Ryzen rig. This Ryzen 3 sounds impressive with 32 threads.
That's
No,
Ryzen
three-
Threadripper. Ryzen 3 is like the entry level one.
Yeah.
3. Well, you do realize that the reason AMD had such shit CPUs the last generation was, well, main generation, whatever, bulldozers.
Mhm.
They were so shitty because AMD didn't realize that the rest of the world is not as advanced as they wish to be.
Mhm.
Like, yes, we are not going to make CPUs that are focused on parallel thing stuff and more cores and more core usage at the same time. And everybody else was like, why would you use more than one core?
And then basically every video game on the planet said, "Hey, multi-threading, it's not a good idea." And then they did it. And now most games require multiple cores, at least 4. You don't have a 4-core CPU today, your games don't play good.
No, I mean, Designers 2 only uses 8 core, well, 8 units out of my 6-core 12-thread processor, you know. 8 out of 4. What a crap game.
It is a terrible game, you're right.
But yeah, AMD is, well, it's killing Intel both in feature sets, because Intel's also like, yeah, you want this, well, you can, but you have to get like a dongle and shit. And then I'm like, well, what is this? The 2000s, the 1990s?
Yes, software locked hardware performance. What the hell is that about?
Yeah.
And so
Yeah, basically just a jumper. That's the best part about it.
Yeah, and the best part is like about Threadripper is like even the smaller Threadripper models still have 64 PCI Express lanes.
oh yeah, that too. And then,
Meanwhile,
but
for
because
Intel, if you want the 40 lanes, you have to buy the more expensive CPU.
Right.
It's
So
because
not
they are
only can I have 32 threads for rendering, I can also put in 4 graphics cards and use those for
Yes,
rendering.
and actually they support four-way SLI and Crossfire.
sweet.
because they are making it just like graphics chips were made all the time. If
So-
something on the higher end processor fucks up, they're just going to cut that part off, and hey, you have a processor of the lower.
So yeah,
Yeah.
I'm going to wrap this episode up. So basically, Intel was like, yeah, so
Okay, put it in a box.
I'll put it in the box. Do it now. There you go. It's in the box now. So Intel was like, so yeah, we offer less features, and it's also going to be more
For more
expensive
money.
on AMD. So yeah,
We have a
choice is
prettier
logical.
logo.
How did this happen?
That was
did
like some sort of
AMD
bizarro world. Like,
Yeah,
Well, apparently, though, there is a reason for all of this happening all of a sudden. Supposedly, for the last decade or so, Intel were basically buying up all the chip manufacturing capability of the local plants, the plants that AMD would also be bidding on. And so AMD literally couldn't manufacture 16 nanometer chips and lower because Intel had all those factories.
I mean,
So-
that's why they kept lagging behind Intel.
but now
So
They had to do their own research or find people that Intel didn't buy it.
hmm But AMD have jumped onto the top of the pile here, so that's good news
Turns
for
out
everyone.
turns out the incredible.
What? You cut out.
Well, turns out the incredible money spent on their own research paid off for some reason.
Yeah.
all right.
and
With,
we,
with that, I'm going. Do it. Okay. Say it. Say it. Back. Say it. Say it. I don't
yeah,
wanna cut you
yeah.
off.
Meanwhile, it like at the Ryzen launch, like all the Intel people were laughing at AMD about having like problems with RAM, about all those RAM incompatibilities. And guess what Skylake X is having right now during launch period?
Wouldn't be RAM problems,
Incompatibility,
would it?
yeah.
Exactly like all those, early problems that Ryzen had too, but you don't really hear them complaining suddenly.
No, I mean, I can fairly, I can run my rig at 2666 now, but it does crash occasionally, so I'm not switching just yet. but it's really getting there. So I think in the, like 6 years down the line after a few BIOS updates and OS updates, it should run completely stable.
I bought some RAMs that the recent page said they are compatible, and they were like, "We are running at 2133." I'm like, "No," and then I typed 3200 into the BIOS, and so far it works.
Sweet.
Nice.
But
Yeah.
but yeah, that and I mean the rig runs nicely even with the slightly lower CPU speed.
So I
mean,
do have
most-
one funny complaint to make. When I didn't do it manually and just switched on the XMB profile, it kind of caused the computer to beep and cycle boot, and nothing happened.
Okay,
I
that's
think that might mean your computer isn't compatible XMB for some reason.
anyway. With that, I'm going to end this episode. So thank you for
A quick reminder: Doomfist and Marina from Splatoon 2 were both released on the National Fried Chicken Day. Think about it. Think about it.
The
Well,
point of the
no.
joke is niggers.
yes. Anyway,
Okay.
so this was another
Bye.
retarded episode of Rothingham. Bye. I have to look for the stop button. There we go.